And we're live.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Reed, and I'm the Executive Member for Commercial Strategy, Human Resources and Performance. And this is my decision day, where issues on which I have been briefed in advance are brought to me for formal decision. By way of announcements, I'm going to make a few because this is the last chance that we have before the election period starts. The Lookout at Leap has won a prestigious National Design Award, the UK Civic Trust Award 2021, and we're very proud of this because it was designed by the County Council's Property Services team. It's a beachside restaurant and visitor centre overlooking the Solent at Leap Country Park, which is managed by the county's countrywide services. The judging panel concluded that the building was a beautiful, harmonious connection between land and sea. So congratulations to everyone involved in delivering this great project, which will provide visitors with an excellent facility at a dramatic location. And I'm looking forward to the time when we don't have the COVID restrictions in place, so that lots of people have the opportunity to see it. With the public sector decarbonisation scheme, I'm delighted to announce as well that the last grant application to this scheme for boiler controls has now been confirmed as successful. So we're getting an extra £2.8 million to spend on modern controls to increase the efficiency of boilers across our built estate, and that will lead to carbon reductions and energy cost savings. So this is going to be added to the other projects which have been secured by grant award, and a total investment of over £30 million will be delivered this year, including glazing replacements, solar PV and oil to gas conversions. So this is important in terms of us reducing our carbon footprint. And on the one public sector estate, the County Council's Property Services leads the cross public sector initiative in Hampshire to enable the best use of the buildings and land that we have through collaboration and knowledge sharing. The wider Hampshire programme has recently been successful in securing a £469,000 grant from government for projects which will include unlocking town centre regeneration, integration with health services, which is increasingly important at the moment, and releasing land for beneficial development. So those are three stories which I regard as extremely good news. The first item on the agenda is deputations. I've received a note from the Lib Dem spokesman, Adrian Collett, saying that he's tied up today, but I know that he has received a briefing from Steve Clow, and he raised a very interesting point on the electric car issue, which is that if the electricity that charges an electric car is from green and sustainable sources, that sort of closes the loop in terms of reducing our carbon footprint. So that was a very useful piece of information. So the first item on which I have to make a decision is the Property Services Commercial Decisions Report. And Steve, I think you're going to speak to this?
Yes, no changes since your briefing. This is a commitment to buy water as part of the deregulated water market, and also includes working with partners to do so to maximise the economies of scale. So nothing to add since your briefing, Chairman.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's interesting that there can be so much difference in the cost between suppliers when I assume really it all comes down to the efficiency of the administration and the billing processes that makes one party cheaper than another. Yes. Right, well, the recommendations are on page 3, set out in paragraphs 2 to 3 in the agenda pack, and I am confident that that is a good decision to make, so I'm happy to confirm those recommendations.
Thank you, Chairman.
The next one is electric vehicle purchasing strategy, pages 7 to 16. And is Andrew going to speak to this one? Hello, Andrew.
Good afternoon. Yeah, there's nothing really additional to add other than what you mentioned earlier, Chairman, about closing the loop in terms of reducing our carbon footprint. If our electric vehicles do use renewable energy through our existing property service portfolio, which a vast majority of our fleet vehicles will, that means that it reduces our carbon footprint significantly. It doesn't reduce it entirely, but it's a big step.
Yes, I mean there's always a chance that a vehicle has to be charged up off the county's grid, as it were, perhaps at home. Yeah, if we can get most of them charged up through county council sources, then the electricity that we supply to those sources is green.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and that closes the loop. Well, I'm delighted to see us changing our fleet from diesel to electric. I drive an electric car myself, and it's very quiet and very enjoyable. So not only are we doing a good thing for the ecology of the planet, I think we're doing a good thing for the people who drive them as well. So I'm very happy to approve this. The recommendations are on page 7 and set out in pages 3 to 4 of the agenda pack. So I'll formally approve those. Thank you very much. The next item is on the built estate, and I think Sean is going to speak to this.
I'll speak to that, Chairman.
Okay, Steve, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the usual annual report coming for your decision to you, which sets out the programmes and priorities for the coming year in relation to the management and delivery of programmes of maintenance, repair and the like on the built estate, including both corporate buildings and schools. And I have nothing to add since your detailed briefing, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I just like to say how pleased I am that we're doing all these updates to the built estate, and how delighted I am at your team's success, Steve, in getting all those grants in to make improvements to the school buildings as well, because that's going to be extremely popular, I'm sure. So the recommendations for this one are on pages 17 to 19 and set out in paragraphs 4 to 9 of the agenda pack, and I'm very happy to approve those.
Thank you, Chairman.
And then item 4 is the Rural Communities Fund, New Forest Agricultural Show Society, which is coming to me because Edward Heron felt that he should declare an interest on this item, and therefore the decision should be made by somebody not as close to it as he is. Steve, do you wish to speak?
I'll need to say that both my director Felicity Rowe and my colleague Joe Heath are on leave today, so I offered just to introduce this briefly. I think you've covered most of it, Chairman, on the basis this is a grant which will help support the continuation of the New Forest Agricultural Show, albeit in a slightly different format this year as a result of COVID, but something that the County Council is regularly committed to, and there's a relatively modest contribution to a much larger match funding from the show itself. So I recommend it to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the recommendations are on page 47 and set out in paragraph 2. And I'm very happy to approve that. I have no interest to declare on this one. And then moving on to the exclusion of the press and public, in case people wonder why we're doing this, we've got some items coming up about our business services group and so on, which could be commercially sensitive. And it is better that we discuss those in private. So could we switch off the webcast now, please?